How to become a child singer. As stars like Michael Jackson, Judy Garland, and Nick Carter have shown, it's never too early to start a career in music if you have the desire. Trying to figure out how to become a star instead of an ordinary person, however, can feel like trying to get from Albuquerque to New York without a map. However, by convincing your parents, training and getting experience, making yourself visible to the music industry, and signing with a record label, you too can become a successful singer at a young age. Method 1: Convincing your parents. 1. Face the reality. It is not easy to get involved in the music world, even for children. It's roughly estimated that it takes 10,000 hours of practicing to become truly proficient in a skill, and singing is no exception. This will probably mean sacrificing a lot of time doing other things, like hanging out with friends, playing video games, and pursuing other hobbies. So you have to really ask and decide for yourself if you really want to make this commitment. You will probably face a lot of competition and roadblocks. Even after you become successful, you may not see a lot of profit at first, and there will likely continue to be a lot of work involved, like signing autographs for hours, traveling for tours, having to write and rewrite melodies and lyrics, long nights at the studio, etc. Although it is a very glamorous and rewarding job, it is not always easy. 2. Research a child singer. You should find out more information about what other modern child singers' experiences have been like in order to understand what the process is like, and how long it will be like. You will also want to start researching to see what kind of music you want to sing. Pick a particular person you admire, like Aaron Carter or Charlotte Church. Use a search engine like Google, Bing, or Yahoo to find interviews and articles written about their careers. Try search terms like name interview, name on success, or name music industry. Try finding the artist's Wikipedia page by searching for them at Wikipedia or any search engine. Scroll to the bottom and look in the references section for articles hosted online for interviews and other articles about their career history. Go to your local library and ask a librarian for help finding more information about the music industry and child singers. They should be able to help you locate biographies and autobiographies for current and past famous individuals. 3. Research music genres. Maybe you already think you know what style of music you want to sing, or maybe you have no clue, but you should make sure you know which genre you want to pursue. It would be a waste of time and energy to think you want to be a country singer only to realize 3 years into training that you want to sing in the opera someday. Research all kinds of different artists and genres of music by listening to them to discover what you like, and what sounds you think you can envision your voice contributing to. Try web services like Last.fm or Musicovery to build your own radio station that features songs that match your taste or mood. Try Earbits Radio's web service or surfing your local radio stations on a car radio for different music genres. Ask your parents and grandparents to introduce you to music they enjoy. It's probably very different than what you and your friends like to listen to. 4. Define for yourself what successful means. Successful is a really vague word, and it could mean a lot of things, especially in today's day and age where there are many paths to choose from. Do you want to be an internet sensation? Do you want to sign on to a record label and perform all over the country? Do you want to star in Broadway or go on to a career in the opera someday? The answers to these questions will determine the kind of training you will need to pursue. 5. Understand why you need your family's support. In addition to being time demanding, in order to pursue this career you will need money. There will be things you need to purchase and invest in along the way like training, equipment, and clothes. It will also be emotionally demanding, since you may have to face rejection, criticism, and other difficulties. There are also things that you may not be able to do for yourself as a minor, like driving yourself to auditions or signing legal paperwork. You are going to need the support of your parents or legal guardians in order to pursue this career. 6. Come up with a convincing argument. Because becoming a singer will be a lot of work for both you and your parents, you need to show them you have put a lot of thought into this decision despite your young age. If you simply say, "I think it will be a lot of fun," they may come up with counter-arguments like, "But do you know how much time and energy this will take?" You will need to use the research you did before to prove to them you know what you're talking about. Try treating this like writing a persuasive essay. If you can think of all of the bad reasons someone could come up with, then you can think of good reasons and arguments to oppose those bad reasons. Be sure to back it up with facts when possible. So, if your parents say you won't be able to spend time with your friends, you can say, I can join the school or church choir and make friends that share my passion for singing. Rehearse your argument to yourself. You will want to make sure you remember your points for when you have a discussion with them. 7. Have a discussion with your parents. Having done the research already, you should now be ready to tell your parents how you feel. Remember to stay calm and in control even if they are initially resistant. Instead, continue to maturely show them you're interested by looking into joining a church or school choir, singing whenever you have the opportunity, even casually, and occasionally trying to have more conversations with them about it. Some arguments could go like this. I don't think that's a good idea. You need to go to school. I can still go to school. I would do all of my practice after school, and any performances would be on the weekends. If I got famous and I had to quit public school, I could get private teachers or do long-distance learning through computers. You won't enjoy it. It's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of work. I did a lot of research on what Michael Jackson and Hilary Duff have been through for their singing careers. But, I really believe that I can do this, especially if you'll help keep me on track. Wouldn't you rather just keep singing a hobby that you love? People say that you should love what you do. I think that if I had a job about something I was passionate about, it would never really feel like work. We don't have that kind of money. We could find ways to make money so I could get training and go to perform. We could do bake sales, and car washes, and I could take small singing jobs in town. Method 2: Training and getting experience. 1. Find a teacher. You will need a trainer or mentor to help you learn the correct habits to take care of your vocal cords so that you don't accidentally damage them. They can help you decide what songs to sing, teach you scales and the basics of music, and give you private lessons to identify your areas of weakness and strength. To find a teacher, you can look online to websites like classicalsinger.com or nats.org, which host searchable directories as well as magazines, online communities, your music teacher at school, or the parents of any friends who are also taking voice lessons. Your teacher does not have to be accredited, a professional singer, or cool. Instead, look at a teacher's history and see how their students have fared. Even if you believe that you have not and will never injure your voice, there may be tiny things you do that you are unaware of that could have serious consequences later. A teacher can identify and stop you from doing those things so that you can have a long and successful career. 2. Learn and practice. While there are some people who brag about teaching themselves and not knowing about the mechanics, if you want a career in music, then you will need to understand notes, melody, harmony, keys, scales, measures, beats, majors, and minors, as well as many, many other things. While this may feel daunting at first, it is necessary so that you can both improve yourself to stand out from the competition as well as to show other people that you are serious. Consider songs as mini plays where you, the singer, are playing a part. Ask yourself who you're supposed to be, why you're singing, how you're supposed to feel, and who you're singing to. You will need to spend many hours practicing the basics like scales both at home and in your lessons. 3. Participate in school plays and church choirs. You should try to make yourself known locally. School plays with singing parts and solos in your school or church choir are a great, free way to try to seek the spotlight that contribute to your community. Have someone record your performance to distribute it online to family, friends, and social media followers later. 4. Audition for singing opportunities. If you feel ready for bigger audiences, auditioning for a broadcasted TV show like America's Got Talent is one way of getting your name and face out there. There are also national and local casting calls going on all the time. Try 2016auditions.com, kidscasting.com, and castingcallhub.com for roles involving singing and dancing. There are also prestigious regional competitions for singers that you can find more information about at nats.org. When you show up to audition, be sure to be dressed nicely, have your song materials pre-selected, be aware of what you're auditioning for, especially if it is a musical play with a story and specific songs, and be sure to have a good attitude. Auditioning is a skill itself. You will probably need to audition many times to learn what kinds of questions and suggestions you will receive, as well as how to handle yourself. Don't be discouraged if you don't get the role the first, second, or even 10th time. 5. Take singing jobs. Especially if you're looking for work as a singer, songwriter, or singing as a pop star, try looking for local places like coffee houses and restaurants that hire singers for live entertainment. This will help get your name and face out there to get more and bigger jobs. It will also help you all to recover costs for training and advertising. Use websites like Craigslist, GigSalad, Backstage.com, YapTracker, and ReverbNation to find singing jobs that you can take. Some, but not all, of these are free to use. Some jobs, often called gigs, will help you to build a fanbase but don't pay well, like playing at a friend's house for a birthday party, and others will pay well but not build you much of a fanbase, like singing for a wedding. Many gigs call in between as well. Try to consider what your goals are with taking a job. Is it most important to make more fans, or to be paid well, or have you reached the point that you should aim for both? Be prepared to be persistent. Some places will not agree to book you the first, second, or even ninth time you call. Be careful when accepting jobs. Have your parents or a legal guardian look at the job posting with you and contact the individual hosting it for you. These are people that you do not know, and it is important that even if you are eager to start making a name for yourself that you be safe. Method 3: Making yourself visible to the music industry. 1. Identify the labels or organizations you want to pursue. There are a lot of different organizations in the music industry today. Aside from the opera and musical theaters like Broadway, there are record labels. Record labels, or record companies, are responsible for marketing, coordinating the production, manufacturing, and distributing music. There are 3 major labels: Universal, Sony, and Warner, as well as many sub-labels, vanity labels, and independent labels. You will need to find out who produces the kind of music you want to make and find out who the executives and producers for that company are, as well as whether or not they accept demos and what their guidelines are. 2. Use social media to advertise yourself. Many aspiring artists use platforms such as YouTube and Facebook to post videos of themselves singing to get their name and face out to the world. Hundreds to millions of people can be aware of you with just a click of the button. Ask your friends and family to help you get a start by liking and sharing your work on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Other places where you can distribute or advertise your music include Reddit Music, Last.fm, and Spotify. 3. Build relationships in the music community. A lot of people use popular blogs like Pitchfork, Stereogum, DatPiff, and the AV Club to find new artists to follow. These bloggers usually have a listed contact email. Send them your music or a link to your social media. Once you've figured out which labels you want to join, find and add them on Facebook and Twitter. If you found the names of their employees, add them too. Try talking with them daily to make them notice you. If any of the labels or their employees or bloggers happen to be local, try calling them, scheduling a meeting with them, and building a more personable relationship with them. 4. Invest in a professional website. Take the next step to look professional and invest in a .com name with your band or artist name. Be sure to be certain that all of the graphics, logos, and pictures of yourself are professional quality. To keep it affordable, try posting yourself to websites like 99designs.com and crowdspring.com, where aspiring designers can submit potential designs to you for a price you've already set. Your parents may be initially reluctant to invest in a website and professional designing. Search for cheap web hosting or cheap web domains to try to find options they might be less reserved about. Explain to them why it's important that you have a professional image, and maybe even frame it in a way they can relate to, like, when you look for someone to come do a job for you, don't you feel better when you see that they have a nice-looking website with information that's neatly maintained, or when you buy products, do nice colors and good packaging appeal to you? Would you want to buy something ugly? What I'm doing is a service, and I want people to buy my music someday. I want record companies to buy my image. If your parents are still concerned about the costs involved, you can try making a GoFundMe, a Kickstarter, or a Patreon for you to have some more sustainable income to reach your goals. 5. Seek talent scouts. A talent scout is a person whose job it is to find untapped talent in the world and help them get work. They can help you find auditions, jobs, and get your name to a record label. You can find searchable directories for talent agents at both Backstage.com and Lawauditions.com. You may also find their profiles on Facebook and LinkedIn. When contacting a talent scout, send a packet with your headshot, resume, and a cover letter. You will likely need your parents' help. Make sure the resume is as short and well summarized as possible, but include details like special talents, teachers, and specific training you've received. Make sure if you include personal references they will speak well about you. Follow up with an agency after sending in a submission. If you get into a showcase seeking representation, ask around to find out who present is already represented and by whom. Be careful to only work with reputable people and to avoid scams. Watch out for people who make big promises, rush casting calls and immediate auditions, promise extremely high pay or say there's no experience needed, casting calls on Craigslist supposedly made by large agencies, those not looking for specific types or ages, or anyone hiding their identity. Beware of agencies that ask you to pay up front for representation, shopping mall auditions, highway billboards, or TV or print ads. Instead, you'll find specific information on their individual websites detailing how to submit yourself for consideration. Method 4: Signing with a record label. 1. Make a demo. Although this particular step can be challenging, once you have the training to do so, you should try making your own music. In order to submit material to a label, you need to have content to display to them, but generally speaking it needs to be material that is unpublished, completely original, and uncopyrighted. Your demo should have no more than 3 tracks to it. 2. Get feedback. You need to get constructive criticism on how your demo has turned out once it's completed. You need to find out if the sound is good, what can be improved, and get advice on how to go about that. Family, friends, and fans are not good sources because they want to be supportive and not hurt your feelings. You should instead seek to have your mentors, teachers, and any industry connections you have listen to your music and tell you their honest thoughts. You do not have to change everything that is suggested to you, but multiple people pointing to the same things is a sign that something really does need to be changed. Do not take people's criticism personally. It is not an attack on you, or to say that you are untalented or unskilled. If anything, people who offer you truthful advice are doing so with the intention of help you be the best you can. 3. Polish your sound. After you've received your criticism, it's time to make the changes that you agree need to be made. You also have to polish things by mixing and mastering your music. The idea here is that you want it to be as professional sounding as possible. 4. Understand how labels work. If you really want to be signed by a record label, then you have to understand how they work. These are businesses, and they have to make money to cover costs. The bigger a fan base, the better your music, and the more dedication and marketing you've already put into yourself, the more certain they will feel that you are someone they can make money off of signing. Good labels receive dozens if not hundreds of demos all the time. In order to stand out, you need to find a way to be truly unique and catch or have a lot of attention already. Some labels will not even accept submissions unless the artist is already entirely self-sufficient. It is because of how difficult it is to get noticed and accepted by a label that it is extremely important that you follow as many of the steps in making yourself visible as possible. 5. Submit your demo. Pick 5 labels to send your demo to, but only send it to one label at a time. Send your demo to the appropriate demo submission email address, or a contact at the label that you have hopefully developed a good relationship with. You will need to upload the tracks to either Dropbox or SoundCloud first and make sure they are set to private so that only the person you have sent the link to can listen to them. Make sure that your email is short, to the point, and polite. If you don't hear back from them after a week, send a follow-up email to ask them if they have received your email and had a chance to listen to your music. Remember to always be polite. For every week you don't hear back, you can send another email. If you haven't heard back after a month, or they say no, it's time to move on to the next label. 6. Sign a contract. If the label decides that you have the sound and presence that they're looking for, they'll contact you with more information about drafting up a contract. Although it might be tempting to sign one right away so that you can begin reaping the rewards of all your hard work so far, be careful. Record deals have a reputation for being very limiting for the artist, so you'll want to be sure you have your parents and maybe even a lawyer involved in reviewing and negotiating the contract.